What is up, everybody? Welcome back to HVAC Uncensored. You know I always start the show off by showing love to those companies who make this podcast possible. Guys, one of the newest sponsors of the podcast that I am so freaking hyped about. Who am I fucking hyped about? I don't use foul language. What's going on here? Blue On. Guys, guys and girls, if you do not have Blue On, let me lean another way. If you do not have Blue On your phones, it is a free app. It is free, all right? You want to download it anyway because you'll find out later in the show a giveaway that I'm doing with them that you have to be a member of Blue On. It costs you nothing. It's free. It is a credible resource to have in your pocket. Blue On is changing the game, trying to help the technicians in the field, and no one is doing it better. There's 130,000 plus users on there and growing every single day. They have so many new things that are coming. Any manual you could possibly want for any unit, residential like commercial, will be in there. Parts breakdown. You're going to be able to order parts, get them delivered to you. Tech support. I've said this a million times. I'm just using two random brands. You're a Train dealer. You're working on a Carrier. You try to call Carrier tech support, they're going to tell you to go shit in your hat because you're not a authorized dealer. Well, guess what? You can use Blue On at the click of a button, and one of their customer support technicians, technical training, not customer support, technical advisors will help you through that 100% free. All right. In the process of also setting up with them as a resource for you guys once a month, we are going to be doing a live show covering different technical topics with some of their tech support members that'll switch out with different guys every month, every week, however we decide to do it, at minimum once a month. And you can also ask them questions live. It's going to be a live tech support. You do a call that day, you have a problem, write it down. Come to the show and be like, hey, I ran into this today. They're going to tell you what to do, how to solve it right there. It's going to be a great thing. Can't wait to get that started. Stay tuned for later in the show so I can let you know about that giveaway involved with Blue On. Next, guys, is the newest sponsor of the podcast. I told you, man, I am making this tag team of companies for you guys, whether it's technicians that want to start their own company, or people that are already HVAC business owners. Trying to divide up the sponsors, the companies that I use personally, that I believe in personally, that me offering them to you and getting you discounts, it's easy. Because I'm just talking about my own experiences and the stuff that I use already. No difference from my friend over at Chirp. Actually going to be a live podcast tomorrow night with Mr. Ryan Fenn, the owner and CEO of Chirp. So don't want to miss that one. This is an awesome service. Guys, Chirp is one of the biggest things, and people don't realize, is you make the most money from your existing customer base. They're the ones that are going to pay you. They're going to spend the most money with you. You have to stay in contact with them. All right? What if there was a way to automate that so that it looked like you were really doing it, not that junk bullshit that comes through that you can tell as soon as it's sent that it's automated, it's not real, because I don't look at that. I just text back stop, so I stopped getting it. This looks real, 100% like a person sent it to you. It sends them text message. A voicemail goes right into their voicemail box there for them to listen to. It automatically emails them. You can set up all different kinds of automation so it's done for you and you're staying in contact with your customer base, which that's how you make money in any business, HVAC, plumbing, electrical, no matter what it is. Mr. Ryan, my friends over at Chirp, they are going to give you guys 3 months, 50% off your first 3 months. So if you go to www.chirp.com/HVAC Uncensored, they'll give you 50% off your first 3 months. All right. Check out my friends at Chirp and then go download the Blue On app. Let's get the pledge. Got a great show for you guys tonight. All right. Let's go. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God bless the United States, and thank you to all those men and women who defend it.
the #1 rated HVAC podcast. If you're looking to grow in the HVAC industry, then you're in the right spot. Blue collar people talking about blue collar shit. Let's get better together. So turn up the volume, buckle your seatbelt, and let's welcome your host, Gil KV Jr.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the HVAC Uncensored Podcast. I'm your host, Gil KV Jr. Another week. Thank you to everybody out there in the chat. Thank you for watching the live show. Thank you to all of you that watch this after the fact, and also to all the listeners who listen to the audio podcast. Thank you, guys. Happy HVAC Technician Appreciation Day. I know a lot of people throw it by the wayside, but hey, it's a big deal. Pat yourself on the back. Congratulations. I made a post today. Remember, what you do is important, all right? This country was built on the backs of blue-collar tradesmen and women. Don't ever forget that. And you are important in everything that you do, all right? Guys, on with the show. A great show tonight, and I think it's a great topic for this time of year. So, guys, if you could help me, please put your hands together to welcome the Director of Marketing for Power Selling Pros, Mr. Zach Garside. What's up, buddy?
What's happening? It's good to be here, Gil.
Yeah, man. And just so everybody knows, you guys know me with the scheduling and stuff like that. Zach is one of the ones who, fell victim of my horrible scheduling. So thank you for being so cool about that, man, because I know it can be a pain in the ass.
Dude, it's all good. It's all good. I'm happy to be here now.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, man. That's so where are you? I forget where Power Selling Pro is. Like, where are you located in the country?
Well, Power Selling Pros is a fully remote company. We've been that way forever.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought. Why did you say that?
Yeah, we've always been remote. I personally live in Hiram, Utah. Utah's best kept secret.
Nice, Utah.
Yeah, nobody knows about Hiram.
That's cool. I've never heard of it. So what would be like the closest big city to it?
Salt Lake's like 90 minutes south. Yeah, so Salt Lake's close enough I can drive down if I want to for a day, come back.
Sweet. Because I know what Steven he's in Texas, and then I forget where Brigham is.
Brigham's in the Salt Lake area. Steven's in Dallas. I'm up here. I mean, we're California, Arizona, Texas, East Coast. We're all over the place. Mississippi,
See, and that's awesome, because I think that's like the future of companies now. And I think after COVID, a lot of people realize that you don't all have to be in the office, and, people working from home or working remote can be just as creative, if not more creative, doing things like that. So that's awesome that, Power Selling Pros is kind of up on that mark. So, which doesn't surprise me as far as what you guys do. I guess before we get into start talking about some things that you guys offer, and also some great topics to get your opinion on, how long have you been with Power Selling Pros, and how did you get into this industry, this side?
Yeah, I've been working here for 7 years. So Brigham was actually friends with my father when I was a kid, and nice. I thought. When I heard about Power Selling Pros, I knew Brigham was a wrestler growing up, so I literally thought he owned a wrestling gym. For some reason, the word power just, I don't know, it gave me that impression. Then I went and served a mission for the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints, came home, and I spent 2 years teaching people about Jesus. So Brigham came to me and said, "Why don't you teach people customer service? Let's just transition that skill set over here." So I started doing it 7 years ago. Did the coaching thing for 4 years. Then I got into the sales and marketing side here, and that's where we're at.
That's awesome, man. Good for you, and good for you on your faith too, man. That's awesome. I like to hear that.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate that.
Yeah, to hear those kind of things, man. So I guess I've had different people from Power Selling Pros on, so most of the listener base should know, about them. But if they don't, in a brief explanation, what is Power Selling Pros? What do you guys do?
Yeah, really simple. When somebody picks up the phone to call you, you've got a person who answers that call. And it says, this call may be recorded for quality assurance. We are quality assurance. We listen to your calls. We give your CSRs personalized feedback on what they need to do to get better.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Yeah, and I will say that you guys are one of the best in the business at doing that. So to all the listeners out there, and I know this is going to be, technicians, this isn't going to really be in your ballpark, but it's still something you should listen at because it might make you respect, the office and those girls or guys or whoever the CSRs are in there answering these phones. Like, this is their Super Bowl too. Like, this is their busy time. They have a short time to make that phone call count. If they're doing their job correctly, all of you guys are busy. You're working, your schedule's full, and you're getting good qualified calls. You're not going out to those 2-year-old bullshit systems that somebody else put in that those people are not going to spend money with you. So when you I'm trying to, so you guys, is it like different levels that you, like, say we bring somebody new in, they've never done it. They have like that, and maybe somebody that's been doing it for a little bit, but needs to be like an expert level. Like, is there different levels to what you guys do, or is it kind of a one size fits all thing?
No, that's an awesome question. First, really quick on what you just said a second ago too, if I may.
Yeah.
I always tell technicians, the technicians that have great CSRs never have to worry about selling because the CSR sets it up, right? The CSR, of course, you can't blow it. You've got to ask, you got to open your mouth, overcome objections, but it's so much easier. The experience is just so much more smooth when the CSR crushes it. Now, to answer your question, every CSR is at a different place, right? The biggest mistake that so many companies make is they try to script it. Everybody's looking for the script or the call flow that will solve all their problems. We just need a better script. We need to get our team on a script. The problem with scripts is scripts are really good for the beginners. If you've got a brand new person, no industry experience, they're just getting started and you need to give them a launching pad, that's what a script does. But in the long term, you've got to make the phone call more than a transaction.
Yep.
Our CSRs, you begin with the script and then you learn over time how to control the conversation, how to listen, how to empathize, how to reassure the customer you can help. There's a million different ways to provide a wow customer experience. And so we start with scripting and then we slowly work our way up, helping CSRs personalize the call, become good negotiators, sell your loyalty program, your maintenance plan. And like you said, it comes in levels as they show. Okay, now we're booking 90% of our calls. Sweet. Let's look at creating the best experience that customer is going to get on the phone. Now that we're doing that, let's work on selling. Like, let's increase your income. Get you spiffs for selling your maintenance plan and things of that nature. And it's an evolution, but it's revolutionary.
Yeah, I agree, because I think when you start off in the beginning, when you just push the scripts, it takes the personability out of it, because then there's people who are like, hi, my name is John. I am, you know what I mean? Like, they're reading it because they're so worried
100%.
about the script. They're taking out like who they are, you know what I mean? So I think it's more about like a technician. You have to teach them, the tools that they use, how they're fixing things. Like, it takes time to learn those little tools and techniques, and being a CSR is no different. You have to learn those same, like you said, negotiating. And it's funny because at Beltway, the company that I'm at is, we have one of our CSRs and then one of our lead technicians. They're the two battling it out for the most service contracts.
Nice.
You know what I mean? And she's kind of pushing our technician
Yeah.
because she's selling so many
Love
of them
that.
over the phone, and it's like, fuck yeah, that's awesome.
That's what should be going. That's what should be happening. Absolutely.
Yeah, and we also know that she can only get better. So I guess, I kind of said my piece, but I'll let I'll let you say it, the importance of what proper CSR training can do for a business, no matter what size your business is.
Yeah. Well, there's two things to consider there. There is training, and then there is coaching. Now, everybody talks about training. Everybody does training. The problem is training does not get you long-term results. Training is when you drop $10,000, $15,000 to have some company come in for a day or two and teach your team all their processes and systems It's very, very exciting. There's lots of notes being taken. Morale is up, right? It's like a big steroid shot. That's training. But then what happens 60 days later?
Nothing.
Yeah, I don't even need to finish the sentence.
Yeah.
Everybody knows. All those notes get tossed into some waste bin or dusty filing cabinet. Nothing changes. There's no habit.
Nothing's
evolved.
implemented.
No habits evolving. That's right. Nothing gets implemented. That's why you need coaching too. Training should do two things. When you train people, and this applies to everything. This is CSRs, technicians, your personal training, whatever. Training is about creating alignment and setting expectations. I get the team aligned around this is how we do things, and then I set expectations for what that is. I remove question marks. I get buy-in. That's what you do with training. You're not looking for long-term change. You're looking for alignment and expectation setting. Coaching is where we give feedback and we actually develop those long-term habits by doing it. I like to tell people experience is the ultimate teacher, not instruction. The only way to get experience is to go answer the phones during the busy time of year when you're taking 100, 150 phone calls in a day. It's to take all those calls, record them all, and then have somebody sit down with you and say, let's listen to these calls. And it doesn't have to be crazy. You can listen to 3 calls for 30 minutes and get a good idea of what's going on, give feedback, and then go make adjustments. That's coaching. Much less formal, but much more effective when it comes to long-term.
Yeah. I mean, those CSRs are the front line. You know what I mean? They're the people that are the face, the first voice that they're hearing when somebody calls the company. And I agree with you. I mean, and I've been a culprit of it. It's happened to me that I've went and I've learned a new process and been like, oh my God, this is so fucking amazing. Like, this is awesome. And you don't implement it. So everybody needs that accountability. And let's be honest, we all try to hold ourselves accountable, but you get busy in the daily shuffle, your brain goes somewhere else. Oh, I was busy doing this. So when you have someone else or something else or a company that does it for you, that holds you accountable, it only makes you better. I've said this the last 5 years in the podcast. You have to be uncomfortable to grow. If you are not uncomfortable, then you are not growing. If you're too comfortable, then something wrong is going on. It's pretty much that simple. You know what I mean? Even the best of the best, when they do things, they're forcing themselves to be uncomfortable so that they keep growing and keep getting better. Or sometimes you got to be that way just to stay the same. Because I don't believe in, oh, I know this and I'm here. You're either getting better or you're getting worse. There's no such thing as staying the same. That's just kind of my personal opinion.
100%. Yeah.
So, sorry, I thought I heard something knocking on somewhere. So the next thing when you guys, so what is, like, you guys will do it for like 1-2 CSRs up to like a whole bunch, right? Like, it doesn't matter the size company.
Yeah, we work with some companies that have one person answering the phones part-time, and we coach them. And we've got other companies that we coach 20 plus CSRs there. It's the same framework, same situation. We've seen it all. The biggest thing, no matter what size you are, to realize is, I personally think it's fascinating that in 2022, when a customer does not have to call you, like a customer could book online. We've got tools like Schedule Engine, right? We've got chat bots that you can start a conversation with, forms that you can fill out. We've got Amazon Home Services. We've got all these options, and yet customers still choose to pick up the phone and call you. I mean, what do all of us do when we pick up the phone and the dial tree comes up and it's like, press 1 for this, press 2 for this, press 3 for this, press pound to speak to an operator. We're all like murdering the pound button, right?
Yeah.
Get me in touch. I don't want to go through the whole robot. I want to talk to a human being who's going to own my problem, who's going to serve me at the highest level.
Yep.
We still choose to do that, even though we don't have to, because in my opinion, that's just what people want. That's what we will always want, is we want another human being to take ownership of expensive problems. The more expensive the problem, the more I want a person to take ownership of it with me. If it's something small, if it's like $20, that's why I go on Amazon, I order it, it gets here in 2 days. But if I'm talking about my air conditioning, I'm talking about my plumbing, I'm talking about my furnace, I want a person to own that. And so you've got to realize that, and you've got to show up and answer that phone call as if you might be the only person today who shows that customer that you care about their problem. Because you just might be. You just might be the only person who genuinely says, gosh, that sucks. That's terrible. I hate to hear that, but we can definitely help. I'm so glad you gave us a call. When would you like us to come out? You'd be shocked at how many phone calls we listen to where the customers get emotional, quite frankly, because they're so happy that somebody just took ownership of it. Yeah. And they're not calling anybody else. The customer always tells you, well, I'm just shopping around. They're not shopping around. Nobody woke up in the morning and said, I'm really curious to find out what the local contractor charges for air conditioning, right? They're not shopping around. They're looking for someone to help them.
Yeah.
And if you can show them that's you, you win.
I agree with that 100%, man. I couldn't have said that better. Yeah. And it's funny you say that because some of these CRMs out there, like the one that we use, when you hit on my way, it automatically sends a text message, lets the customer know that you're on the way, sends them like your picture and bio and all that kind of stuff, which that's great. I know in technology it's good to have, but you still make that phone call because that initial phone call to the customer is powerful. Hey, Mrs. Smith, this is Gil. How you doing today? Or this is Gil from Beltway. How you doing today? Hey, I just wanted to let you know I was on the way out to you. Is there anything else I can get for you on the way? Is there should I park any place special? Like just that initial contact is so powerful, and it's the same with the CSRs. Like, you know what I mean? That you're not robotic. I think so many people like this business is about building relationships. Sometimes you build those relationships in 2-3 minutes or less. And you think it's not important, but that one phone call could literally change somebody's day. That's why I loved being a technician in the field because I gave a damn. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I try to help people. Granted, I'm charging them money for what I'm doing. It's not like I'm providing like a charitable service, but most of the time people would pay those $2,000 tickets. They would love me for it. They were happy. And just seeing their demeanor change. And it's amazing how you can do that when you give a shit and try, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's fascinating to me. The average CSR, and even technicians fall into this category a lot of the time too. When I ask the average CSR, so what's your job? What do you do for this company? You know what they all say? They all say, I just answer the phones. That sounds more like a prison sentence.
Yeah.
Like success to them, a successful day is 40 hours. Clock in, clock out, did my time. Doesn't matter that I only booked 40% of my calls. I did my time. I answered the phones. That's my job. Your job is not to answer the phones. If that is what you think your CSRs think they do, if that's what you're leading them to believe, then just automate it. Just embrace the reality that your calls are no better than a robot. Your CSR should do 3 things on every phone call. This is their real job. Book the call, right? Get an appointment on the calendar. Create a wow experience. Make it so that customer hangs up the phone and says, oh my gosh, I have not gotten service like that on the phone, maybe ever. And if you don't believe you're capable of that, just pick up the phone and call 5 of your closest competitors. I promise you the bar is not high. Right? You could very easily, we do this with our CSRs all the time. We call it shop the competition, where we say, tell me 3 of your biggest competitors, and they list them. So then we'll put the number on restricted and we'll call just so the CSR can hear what the competition sounds like. And they realize if I put my heart into this, I'm literally the best CSR in the market. Nobody's better than me if I just care. Yeah. And the third thing is uncover additional revenue opportunities. I mean, like you said, the CSR, in my opinion, should sell more maintenance plans than anybody in the company. They have more opportunity to do so. So why would they not?
Yeah, and it's not even just the incoming calls. I mean, a lot of times they're doing outbounding too. calling customers back.
That's
You
right.
know,
Open estimates, everything.
exactly. And it's endless amount of opportunities. And when, I think so many companies look like the tech is up here and the installers and the sales guy, because they make all the money, they bring in the revenue, they sell the big money. Well, guess what? Those guys don't have shit to do without those CSRs. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to be sitting around playing circle jerk if you don't have these awesome CSRs that are answering the phone and creating those calls and booking them and filling the board. So it's, yeah. And I trying to make sure I say this the right way. Being a technician for so long that once I got into management and started running companies and stuff like that, and, actually being in there all day and seeing the phones and how they operate, and literally in the summertime, this time of year when it's, hello, thank you for calling. Hello, thank you for calling. I mean, those things are, you would have a whole new respect for what those CSRs do. And it is not easy. Any of you technicians out there, if you think that you can do what they do, and you don't respect what they do, I challenge you to go to your boss and say, hey, for a half a day, can I sit in here and answer phones? And I promise you, an hour in, you're going to be saying, give me 5 more fucking calls. I don't want to do this anymore. I promise you, you will not want to do it anymore. So, yeah,
it's tough, man. It's tough. Now, if I may, there's one other thing on that note.
Yeah.
We obviously in the industry have a retention problem with CSRs. Nobody can figure out how to get the people to stay on the phones for more than 6 months, it seems like. People quit, they come and they go, partly because of what you're describing. There's just a lack of respect. Like, you are the CSRs. You should be paid lower than anybody else. I know CSRs who make 6 figures, dude. Not because their base is so high, but because their company gives them the tools to be able to sell those maintenance plans and call those open estimates and book a high percentage of calls. They're highly successful. But here's something that breaks my heart. I went to visit a pretty large HVAC company earlier this year. Over 50 CSRs in their call center. And these CSRs hate their jobs for the most part. I mean, you're walking around asking people about their work, about the process, about management, and it is not positive. They're itching for some change, and they're all really, really young too. It kind of feels like, we can't keep anybody obviously longer than a year or so, because they're all, by the time they're 26, they're all out of there. So then we ask the managers, what kind of things are you guys doing to keep them, to build morale and get them to stay longer? And they were so excited. These managers said, just wait till you see what we're doing. Okay. We're implementing a spinning wheel in the office, a wheel that you can spin and it'll land on a prize, like a candy bar or something. And I'm like, you mean to tell me you've got more than 50 people out there that don't want to be here right now, and your solution to the culture and retention problem is to let them spin a wheel so they can win a Snickers bar?
Yeah.
Like,
we got Plinko. Woo!
Yeah. Like, we're talking about people's career here. This isn't 5th grade,
Yeah.
This isn't recess. This is like, they come in here for 8 hours a day. You're having to make 1,000 outbound calls a day. Come on, right?
That's crazy.
And a lot of it is the managers don't feel empowered to take care of them. Right? They're like, well, we just don't have the resources. I can't compete with the salary of the speed team or the technicians or the accounting department. And I'm like, well, obviously there's a lot of problems here, but first things first is, please do not get so excited about the spinning wheel, because I promise that's not going to solve your problems.
Yeah.
It's got to be deeper.
That's funny. And you know what? And I was part of that problem. And to be honest, I don't know if I've totally corrected. I've gotten better over the years. Is you always think, oh, I'll hire some girl out of high school, or, some young girl, like she can come in as a training position and answer the phones. And then we ask them to, oh, well, why can't you do this? It's like, well, she doesn't know what she's doing.
It's just answering the phones. How hard could it be?
Exactly. But, when we look for like an installer, a technician, a sales guy, we have this set criteria that we look for. But when we hire the CSRs, we really have they got a heartbeat. Oh, she's fine taking, minimum wage. Cool. Well, hire her. And I think that mentality has to change. And like I said, not shit on anybody because I have been there. You know what I mean? I've been part of that problem. And I think when that changes, when you really start to see change in your company, we always say you got to reassure the foundation. And if you don't take care of that, then your foundation's got cracks. There's no way around it.
And I empathize with business owners that feel like it's not possible because it is expensive to hire somebody who's really, really talented. And you do feel like this has to be the lowest paid position in the company, right? And I don't know what everybody's P&L looks like. I don't know all the details. I empathize with that. But there are ways to do this, to make it a fulfilling career without breaking the bank on like their hourly pay or their salary. There are ways to bonus them for booking 90% of their calls or higher, or to bonus them every time they sell a man or rebook an open estimate, or make a certain number of outbound calls or happy calls. Or there are things you can do to increase your CSR's earning potential in ways that benefit both of you. And that's where so many business owners really hurt themselves, is they assume, well, because it's customer service, it has to be the lowest paid position. It has to be the one that experiences a lot of turnover. I speak to tons of business owners that say, well, that's just the way it is. I say, but is that the way you want it to be? Because I know the answer to that question is no. So let's figure something out here, because again, book the call, wow the customer, uncover additional revenue opportunities. If your CSRs did that on every single phone call, would that not change your business forever? I mean,
100%.
That's huge. You're making so much more money with CSRs that do that. Your technicians are overwhelmed with work. Their close rates are higher because the customer's predisposed to like you better before you even get there. The CSRs are creating more revenue opportunity. There are ways to do this without breaking the bank and actually making more money.
Yeah, and I know people throw this word out, especially the past year, too much about culture, though. But think about the culture you would have where those CSRs or any position, that person comes in every day and they have the ability that you give them a blank check and they can make money that literally changes their life, for just, you train them properly, you give them the resources to be successful. They take those resources, in turn, help your company like crazy, and they love coming to work every day because they're making money. They can do those things they never thought they'd be able to do. It's just, that's a good feeling. And it's, you have to make it to where when the employees make money, the company makes money. Where it's not like, oh, the big guy's getting rich while we sit back here and, while he goes out on his boat. It's got to be, they're doing well, and hey, the company's doing well too. And when you have that kind of mindset, that kind of mind frame built into your culture, it's a win-win for everybody. And the other thing real fast is all of the companies I know that are doing well, like not like on the outside, because everybody on Facebook is doing $90 million and, they just bullshit people. But I mean the people that are legit doing good regardless of revenue. I mean, like profit margins are good, like they're making what they're supposed to make and their companies are growing. All of them, their CSRs or department is taken care of. It's down pat. It's where it needs to be. Those are the ones that are growing and soaring. And I saw that on the outside looking in and was like, that kind of makes sense. Hi, everybody in the chat. Just so you know, I see you. You got any questions, put it in all caps. If you have any questions for Zach, I'll be more than happy to ask him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sorry.
Well, that was just gonna say you dropped the mic there. That was good. That was good, man. I completely agree.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, let me ask you this: like, since 7 years you've been doing this, like, what is like one of the customers that you've had that you could think in the top of your head that when you went there, things were, and you don't have to say any names, obviously, of companies or anything, but somebody that was like wasn't very good, But after some of your training, it was like kind of like a light bulb, and all of a sudden, like it was a night and day difference, and now they can kind of see the fruit of their labor.
Oh man, those are great stories. I love those. I mean, some of my favorites are when a CSR is on the brink of being fired, and an owner just doesn't feel quite right about it, so they bring us in to do training, and the CSR saves their job. And notice I say the CSR saves their job because it's them, it's not us. We are simply there. We're giving feedback. We're supporting, giving them tools. They have to do something with it, right? Those stories I absolutely love. We've got some companies that have been with us for so long. They've put 20, 30 people through our program, and every last one of them books over 90% of their calls. I love stuff like that because when you walk into those call centers, it's alive. Like, you don't realize how dead your call center is until you walk into one that's alive. Until you walk into one where the people are brimming with excitement and energy and culture and fun and success. They are all doing a great job. They're making more money than your CSRs. You don't realize how dead your call center is until you walk into one that's alive. Maybe my personal favorite one though is when they just don't care. When you go into a business where the CSRs see the customer as the enemy, like, thank you for calling Awesome Plumbing and Heating. This is Zach. Make it quick. That sort of attitude, right? And it's just getting in the way of payroll and invoicing and permits and all the other stuff. But then you can change that mindset to actually talking to a customer is an opportunity to grow the business. It's an opportunity to serve. They're not a nuisance. They're literally the reason I get a paycheck every day.
Yep.
I absolutely love going into companies like that because even though it's harder in the beginning, you've got to overcome a lot of bad thinking. The customers are mean, the customers are abusive, the customer just wants a price, the customer, they're just shopping around. When you can break down those old belief patterns and rebuild new ones, I know you're going to book more calls. I know you're going to sell more services. I know that your customer experience is going to be so much better, and people are going to actually start talking about your CSRs in their reviews, not just the tech.
Yep.
And that's situations like that.
Yeah, and that's amazing. People don't realize that it's we spend so much in marketing to get that phone to ring, and you almost say it's like $300 every call, kind of a round number. So when you don't take advantage of that, just imagine $300 getting thrown out the window every time, we don't take one of those seriously. It's counterproductive. Right. Let's throw money. Let's raise the marketing budget, but when the phone rings, we don't give a shit. It doesn't make sense. Somebody in the comment said, Zach, what is your secret to keeping your CSRs? What is the turnover? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Well, I have two good answers to that question on a general level. I could get more specific with individual companies, but the two immediate things are, number one, when the CSR sees that you're investing in them and that you care about their success, it automatically improves because they feel like you care. I remember us going to a company one day, and before training, we had a big training schedule with the CSRs. We met with the management team to talk about expectations for the day. And the management team was eating donuts in their morning meeting, fresh donuts. So our trainer goes, I bet I know where those leftover donuts are going. I bet you're sending the leftover donuts to the call center. And at first the managers go, oh, absolutely. Yeah, we love our CSR. And he says, how much other leftover stuff are they getting from you? And then it clicked that the CSR's got all the leftovers of literally everything, not just resources, but attention, care. So the biggest thing is start actually doing something, even if it's just like a meeting or some training program that you invest in, or you buy them all some books on self-improvement, or you buy them all lunch once a week. Do something to show they're a priority. Not something like your technicians get this and your CSRs get this. No, do the same thing you did for your technicians one week for your CSRs. And the second thing is there's this great book. It's called the 5 Languages of Appreciation in the Workplace. It's kind of based on the 5 love languages. Awesome book.
It is awesome.
The 5 Languages of Appreciation in the Workplace will really open your eyes because not everybody is strictly motivated by the money. Some people, they want that affirmation. They want somebody to say, you're crushing it, man. Like, and be specific. You know, I heard you on that phone call say this thing, and I thought it was brilliant. Like, keep that up. So if you can find out what each individual CSR wants and needs to feel fulfilled at work, that also goes a long way. And treat it one by one. One by one is a lot more time consuming, but way too many companies are looking for some sweeping solution that they can apply to the whole call center, like the spinning wheel thing. There might be a couple people in that call center that are excited about a spinning wheel, but the vast majority of people are not going to care. So don't think that there's one solution that's going to get your whole call center on board. You've got to find out what each individual needs to feel wanted and valued and fulfilled in their job.
Amen. It's and that's with your whole company, you know. You want to keep your CSRs, treat them like he just said, treat them like you treat your techs, treat them like you treat your top sales guy. You know, and you know, I love that because, you know, the owner of Beltway, Ryan, talks about, you know, like there's, you know, some people driven by money, words of affirmation. You know, we always try to say we have to provide challenge, clarity, and care for each individual employee, and sometimes it's going to be different for each individual employee. All of our CSRs are women, but Ryan, we'll have them where like, hey, we're going to answer the phones, you know, granted it's not a busy day, but, hey, you know, they go get their nails done. They go out to lunch, you know, something that just shows them that like, we appreciate you. We give a damn. And it's just them, you know, like we do company-wide things just for the techs, just for the installers, just for the sales guy, just for the CSRs, because, so they know that they're important and nobody is bigger than the other, that this is a well-oiled machine, and every person on this team is what makes it go. You know what I mean? One cog in this wheel doesn't work properly, then we're all falling on our face. Nobody's better or more important than the other one, you know?
Yeah. Last thing I'll say on that is I heard something awesome this morning on a podcast I was listening to, actually. This guy said, there's a difference between paying attention and giving attention. If you're paying attention, it literally feels like you're giving up something. It feels like you're pulling out your wallet, right? It's not a great feeling if you're paying it. But if you're giving it, you know, don't pay attention to your CSRs, give attention to them. You know, I think that's a really powerful way to look at it. Like, are you paying attention to the CSRs because they're screwing up, because they're not performing well? Or are you giving them attention because you want them to improve and you care about them?
Yeah, or don't only give attention when it's to something negative. You know what I mean? Give that attention when it's also a positive thing. You know, I feel like some people get into management and they feel like it's, you know, it's always got to. I rather talk to the people that work for me and give them pats on the back and positive words of affirmation or whatever it is, positive things to build them up, than I have to do like slap them on the wrist, like, hey, what did you do? You know what I mean? You know, that stuff has to happen, but I want that to be quick, get to the point, and then the rest of the time I want to be like, anyway, you know, we both understand what I just said. Yeah, all right, cool. How did it work out yesterday? You know what I mean? How did it work out yesterday? I want to get moving. Like, you can put those things in there to make sure you get your point across, but you got to have that kind of positive mentality, because CSRs, technicians, the whole roundabout is like, we're in a shortage of all of them. And think about some of the younger generation. Why would they want to get into this trade? Why?
Dude, can I share a story on that, actually?
Please,
is that okay?
Please.
Dude, okay, so 2019, I just graduated from college. I'd been at Power Selling for years. And all my buddies from college were going off to tech. You know, they were going to the tech sector, working at big tech firms there. Silicon Valley, and I had a little bit of FOMO. So I'm like, you know, I've been working with the blue collar, I've been working with the trades for 4 years. Let's give this tech thing a try. So I go and I get a job at this tech company. And I quit in 4 months, Gil. I quit in 4 months. It was horrible. You're a cog. You're a cog who's dependent on some huge investor to give your employer, $150 million every 6 months to stay in business. you're not solving real problems for people. You're sitting behind a computer hacking away at the keyboard. Engineers in tech, I am very impressed by. But there's so many jobs in there that people just go to because they're kind of sexy, right?
Yeah.
In the trades, we solve real problems. Nobody works unless we work.
Yeah.
I mean, period. But again, what happens when I ask the CSRs, what's your job? I just answer the phones. You're not even telling them what their real job is, what they actually are there to do. I've been on the other side, and it sucks. They're not going to be happier just because they left and worked somewhere cooler. They're going to be happy when their leader cares about them and makes it a priority for them to feel fulfilled at work and to be successful. People want clarity of why their job's important. They want competence, meaning they want to be good at it, and they want control over how they get it. If you can do those things, win.
Yeah. No, it's and people's natural, like, just in them, no matter what job you're doing, they want to be challenged. Sorry, you were cutting out there for a little bit, but I didn't know if you were still talking. You still there, bud?
I'm here. I think we're having some connection problems.
Okay, yeah, you were I couldn't tell if you were still talking. So all right, good. As long as we're good. We only got another 10, 15 minutes. We can hold it strong till the end. But shit, I forgot what I was even saying now. So it's a brain fart. But what you just said is so true. So let me I guess you're director of marketing. If these people out there are listening, besides everything we just talked about, if that's not enough, then they're fucking morons. But if that's not enough, these business owners who they thinking to themselves like, damn, my CSRs aren't doing what Zach's talking about. What's the sales pitch? Like, what is, Power Selling Pros? Like, why do these people, besides everything, like I said, everything we just talked about, why do they need you guys and what you do specifically?
That's a great question. I'll give you two answers to that. Number one is this is all we do. We live, breathe, sleep, eat CSRs. That's it. That's all we do. We sit down, we coach 1,050 CSRs right now in our program. Dude, think about that. We coach more than 1,000 CSRs twice a month, one-on-one. We sit down with them. We listen to their calls. We give them feedback. We practice with them. It becomes impossible not to get better. And the second thing is a little something I like to call the cool uncle effect. I would be shocked. People who are listening to a podcast like this, I'd be shocked if they haven't tried at some point to give a team member feedback and the team member just did not respond the right way. You give them feedback and either they got defensive or they didn't implement it, they didn't care. But for some reason, somehow, when you get a third party like us involved, it's like a revelation. The team's like, this is exactly what I need to be doing. It's huge. And you as the business owner, you're like, I've been saying this thing for literally the last 10 years. But having that third party sometimes it just clicks. People suddenly get it.
It's validation.
Those are the two big reasons. Yeah, right.
Just think about, like, in a tech world, when we talk to customers, that third-party validation is manufacturer recommends, the American Gas Association recommends, the EPA recommends. It's the same way. Yeah. And plus, they assume that we may know a little bit about CSRs and try, but maybe they assume that we don't really know what we're talking about. When you bring in somebody like you're the expert. Hey, we're bringing in these, they're expert at CSR training. So when you come in and you say it, they're like, oh shit, I guess that really does make sense. You know what I mean? It's affirming, what's already been said. And then obviously you're going to be teaching them way more than that. So it's, yeah.
And I always tell people, just honestly, if you're not convinced that you need to do something with your CSRs, right? After everything that we've talked about here, right? And I feel like we've made a pretty compelling case for, even if you don't come to Power Selling Pros, like literally do anything, and it will be better for all of us, for the whole industry. but I always tell people, just do the math. Like, how much is a service call? Okay, what's the math on one more service call a day than you're getting now? If your CSR books one more call a day than they are right now, it is well worth whatever investment you make. I promise you, there's no investment in your CSRs that is so expensive that one more call a day won't make up for it, and then some. And that's all you got to do is do that simple math. I think we did it one time with an average service call of $500. We assumed, and we said one more call every working day for a year is $125,000 in revenue.
That's
from one.
I think we're getting the little glitchy. There you go. You're back. I see you again.
Luckily, I finished what I was saying before it cut out.
Yes, exactly. But and that makes perfect sense. So before we cut out, we got probably about a couple minutes left before we close this out. Anybody who, viewer, listener, looking to get your guys' services, where do they go?
Just go to powerslingpros.com. That's it. powerslingpros.com. Click on the top where it says request a free training sample. Just put your information in there and get a free training sample. Show it to your CSRs. Put it in the next team meeting. Watch it yourself. There's some really powerful stuff that you can get there that will show you, oh shoot, this is actually really high impact stuff here. This is not just, hey, here's a fancy script to book the call. This is, let's grow your business. Let's turn your customer service department into a profit center.
That's sweet. And I love this conversation. And like I said earlier, I think that this is so important, especially this time of year. Me and Ryan, we're talking about this today. Ryan Grimes, the owner of Beltway, the company that I run, with a team of people, is, a friend of ours made a comment today. He said that, the summertime is when you spend the most in marketing, because in the off season and stuff like that, it just doesn't make sense. So I want all you business owners to think about this. If you are spending the most you've ever spent this time of year in marketing to get that phone to ring, doesn't it not make sense if you're not training the person who has to take that phone call and convert it into a call on the board? It's almost like a waste of money. It just we need to start thinking about the other side and the importance of those CSRs and their importance to the company and the outcome, the result of everything else. And I really think that the people out there that have it figured out understand that. The people who are struggling in different aspects, that's one of the biggest aspects they're struggling in, and they may not even realize it. So hopefully this show can shed that light to be like, oh, well, shit, I don't provide them training. I don't do this. They think they just answer the phones. You know what I mean? So hopefully this sheds a light to somebody that helps them have that aha moment. We all need that aha moment no matter what you're doing to realize, you don't know what you don't know. Well, now you know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And even if you're just a technician, notice what I did there. Just a technician. Even if you're a technician though, and you're thinking, well, this isn't super apply to me, dude. The customer experience, what we're talking about with the CSRs, we have literally had trainings where we work with the CSRs for a full day, and afterward, the business owner comes to us and says, "Can you do literally the exact same thing for my techs? Can we literally just duplicate that and bring it? Because it's customer service,
Yeah,
right? Positive energy, confidence, listening skills, empathy, reassuring, asking for the sale, building value, overcoming objections, building the relationship." It's the same thing. It's just a different channel. Phone, home, leadership, it doesn't matter. It's the same thing. Treat it like more than a transaction. That's it. You do that, you are automatically up here compared to everybody else in your market who's just sort of going through the motions, thinking that all they do is fix stuff. You are not just fixing things. You're solving real problems for people. If you don't work, nothing else works.
you could be changing people's lives. That's why I said earlier, think about when you're in customer service, you are building relationships. That's what you're doing. And if you think about every interaction that you're doing, that you're building a relationship with somebody, and you keep doing that things will change. I promise you, things will change. And I get it. You're not out there building, sometimes you do. You have those customers for a long time. You build friendships. But even at the time, it's what we do. You can really change somebody's life. And people are like, oh, Gil, you're being dramatic. No, I'm not. Like, that is the truth. I can't tell you how many times that some of these homeowners didn't know about certain, like, indoor air quality products, and they had a child who was literally suffering, who had trouble breathing, using machines at their house. And I'm like, oh, well, you can get, this filter and this, and this. And they call the company back and go, you cannot believe, like, how much stress you just took off of me. Like, little Jimmy can be in his house without using his inhaler, and he doesn't have to wear his mask or this. Man. You know what I mean? Like, that stuff is powerful, and it happens more than you realize. You have to just let yourself go, build that relationship, and let it happen. Don't hold back, people. You know what I mean? Like, just don't hold back. Be yourself. Yeah. Build those relationships, and it's amazing what the outcome can be at the end of the day.
Yeah. Amen.
Yeah. It's amazing. Well, Zach, I want to thank you for coming on. Like I said, thank you for the rescheduling, man. I really, really appreciate it. Anybody listening to this, man, business owners of any kind, please go check out Power Selling Pros. Tell them that, HVAC Uncensored took you. They are definitely one of the best in the business. They've been on the podcast several times, and they will definitely make your CSRs better. So, Zach, thank you for coming on, buddy. I appreciate your time. I really do. Anything ever pops up, you guys know you are always more than welcome to come on here. Just reach out, and I might be reaching out to you to try to use, your services for our own CSRs.
Yeah, man. Let's do something. It'd be awesome. Thanks for having me on. And thanks for your patience with the connection issues, too. I don't know if that was my side, but probably.
Yeah, no worries, man. It happens. After 5 years, I'm used to the that kind of stuff. But thank you, buddy. Yeah. I appreciate you. I'm gonna go ahead and close this thing out real fast.
All right.
Yeah, everybody in the chat, thank you, man. Thank you, Rookie. I appreciate you being in there, man. Guys, if you have not downloaded the Blue On app, please go do so. Because once you do that, you'll realize that you will get into. They have a text service that is only for Blue On members, and you're going to need that if you want to win the giveaway stuff. Guys, I have like Makita drill sets, vacuum pumps, recovery machines, manometers, meters, Vito tool bags. I have a lot of stuff to give away. Okay, this is going to be a piece to a puzzle, and you have to follow directions because I'm only going to give this to the people that are truly listeners of the podcast, that support the show, that come here every week and actually listen to the show. All right, so this is the first step. All right, there's going to be more to this, but I promise you, the more that we do, the bigger the prize at the end of the tunnel. Okay, first step. Download the Blue On app, register yourself, become a Blue On Pro. It's 100% free. None of these steps are going to cost you anything or nothing like that. It's just going to take a little bit of your time. That's all I ask. Make sure that you are subscribed to all of the podcast social media. So I only have 3: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. That's it. That's all I ask. Make sure that you download the podcast. If you don't watch the videos, the video version, make sure you listen to the audio version, so that you know. Yes, exactly. You get a free hat. I don't know if you get this one or not. You might get this one or this one. Hold on. I think I'm choking myself. The cord wasn't as long as I thought. It's you either get this one or this one. I think if you go ahead and do the Blue On Pro, you get these. And I'm also going to have some other things from them. It's going to be tools, merchandise. I have a bunch of hats. My website is not done, and the website it's not my friends who are making it. It is my fault. I've been so busy, I got to finish with them. But that's when the merch store will be open. But I got a bunch of hats made that are not for purchase. I'm giving them away. So all kind of stuff. So make sure you do that. Download the Blue On app. Thank you again to all the new sponsors. Check out Blue On. Check out my friends over at Chirp. Remember, that is CHIRP.com /HVAC Uncensored, and they will give you 50% off your first 3 months. Come back here tomorrow night, 8 p.m., a special episode. Next week, 2 episodes, Tuesday and Wednesday. I have Mr. Victor Rancourt is going to be with me again Tuesday. It's always a fucking riot when Victor comes on. And I forget who's the normal show on Wednesday. So 2 episodes, 2 weeks with 2 episodes. Going to be dropping hits every show. So make sure that you are here. Starting next week when I start to receive some of this stuff, I am going to give out some prizes, but people have to be here to win. All right. So if you're not here for the live show, you can't win after the fact. Okay. So I will ask a question. If it gets answered in the comments, you win. Email me your address and prize is sent, you know? Yeah. All right, guys. That's about it. I appreciate you guys, man. Like I said, happy HVAC Technician Appreciation Day. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for what you do. Like I said, this country was built on blue-collar trades backs. Don't ever forget that. What we do is important. It's valued. Some people may not realize it until it's not there, but what you do is important, and I thank you for what you do. I'm in the field, but I thank you for what you do. All right? All right, I'm rambling now. I think I've covered everything else. Remember, I'm always here to help, guys. Private message me, email me, hvacuncensored@gmail.com. I will always do my best to help you in any way that I can. I don't know everything. If God forbid I don't know, I will find out who has the answer for you. Make sure that you guys go check out, if you do own a business, make sure that you check out my friends over at Power Selling Pros. I have met Brigham, the owner, Steven, and now Zach. I mean, they what they do is amazing, man. Like, that's not even just me. If you look up the people who have used them and the changes that have happened, it speaks for itself. So understand the importance of the CSRs. All right. Any questions? Reach out to me, and I can get you in touch with Zach or whoever over there at Power Selling Pros. If you have any questions, do like he said and go to powersellingpros.com and request that free. I think it was a free training or something like that, or free demo, so that you guys can check it out. All right, guys, remember, be safe out there. We all got to make it home the same way we left. We all got somebody to make it home to. All right. Do the little things. Set yourself apart from the next guy. There's no reason, you can't say I don't know. Not in this day and age. Internet and all that kind of stuff. Do those little things. Set yourself apart. All right. Make sure you're downloading the podcast. Download it. Watch it. That helps the show. The more the show grows, the more sponsors I get in here to be able to give back to you guys. To do things for these giveaways and be able to buy awesome, cool shit to give back to you guys. All right. That's about it. Until next time, man, I love you motherfuckers. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you to all my moderators in the Facebook group, to all my moderators on YouTube. I appreciate you guys. Rookie, I appreciate you, my friend. Take care as always, brother. Zeke, thanks for being here. Everybody who was here live tonight, Isaiah, and the rest of them. Until next time, I'll see you mofos later, man. Peace.
Thanks for listening to the HVAC Uncensored Podcast. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Instagram, or email us anytime at hvacuncensored@gmail.com. Now, get back to work. Shut this down. The views and opinions shared on the HVAC Uncensored Podcast may not necessarily be the views and opinions of our sponsors or guests.
Oh, and for the record, I'm not really this red. It's something to do with the screen. But I am out playing baseball there, or watching baseball, Scott, rookie. But I promise you, I don't like a fucking tomato. I just don't know how to change it. Yeah. Anyway.